Tonight, an exclusive interview with former Governor John Hickenlooper.
He's sounding off on his current successor and the way the state has responded to the COVID-19 outbreak. News Channel 13's Chase Golightly caught up with Hickenlooper, who is now a candidate in Colorado's upcoming U.S. Senate race.
He asked him what the state has done right and what he might have done differently. Chase?
Heather Bart, overall, former Governor John Hickenlooper says Colorado has done a good job keeping up with this pandemic and keeping people safe. However, he does still see some areas for improvement.
While former Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper didn't have to govern Colorado during a pandemic such as this, he is familiar with disasters in the state.
My first 4 years as governor, I went to 34 funerals. We had the worst wildfires. You know that down in the Springs, the Waldo Canyon fire, I'll never forget the rest of my life.
He says current Governor Jared Polis's response, closing businesses and asking people to stay at home in response to COVID-19, is the right call, despite the backlash Polis has received.
Many people disagree with this one or that one. I think by and large, he has been remarkably consistent and focused, great clarity.
And while some are unhappy with the closures, Hickenlooper says it's still what's best for Colorado's health and, in the long run, our economy.
For the greater good, it's for everyone. And if we've got to tamp this thing down so that we can get back to an economy, to jobs, to a new normal.
However, that's not to say the former Gov would have done everything the same at the early onset of COVID-19, like ramping up testing by having a supplier lined up further ahead of time.
We probably could have gotten ahead of this, and I think it still would have been a disaster, but it wouldn't have been anywhere near as devastating to our economy, I don't think.
We also asked Hickenlooper what his administration did as far as preparing Colorado for a pandemic of this magnitude, especially when it comes to hospital supplies.
We had an inventory of protective equipment. I think in most cases, in one of these pandemics, there's supposed to be or at least there is usually a larger stockpile that the federal government keeps in place.
And while it will be months before there is a return to normalcy, Hickenlooper says we can't forget about the struggles we've just been through. Priceless lessons that will help tremendously if this ever happens again.
Hickenlooper continues his campaigning for Senator Cory Gardner's Senate seat, which is up for grabs in 2020. But bear in mind, he'll also face a challenge from within his own former state House, Speaker Andrew Romanoff. Reporting live in the newsroom, Chase Golightly, KRDO News Channel 13.